Crown the Kings arrived in Queensland, ready to tackle the 2-year-old plate at Doomben on Saturday. He's our representative for the team up there for the weekend. I thought he trialled nicely at the official 2-year-old trials in Sydney. He travelled wide throughout but stuck on very well. He's a lovely, big, imposing colt that I'm sure will be much better for that experience. He's looks to have handled the trip up there nicely. A bit of a difficult draw for him. Hopefully he can show the tactical speed to help offset that, but he's certainly a nice horse going forward. Tremonti trialled particularly well at the official 2-year-old trials on the Kensington track. Off the back of that, he was targeted towards this particular race in Flemington. He's the type of horse that we believe will handle the trip and conditions very well, handle it the first time up the straight. He looks to be in great shape, having settled in nicely to the Flemington surrounds. I thought he worked up strongly during the week, and with that should be very, very competitive coming out of a strong barrier trial heat here in Sydney. Kilcare Beach Girls racing second up in the Edward Manifold Stakes group race over the 1600 metres for the 3-year-old fillies. I thought she was excellent first up. She raced showing the signs of a filly that's in need of getting over ground. She also didn't necessarily handle the tight turning Canterbury track on that occasion. So stretching out to the 1600 metres is a big positive for her. And no doubt the big expansive Flemington track will also be a significant advantage to her. She's a filly that's only going to keep improving as she gets over further. Obviously a sharp step up in grade here will be the difficult step for her, but I do think she's got plenty of quality about her. Queen Toss is racing first up in the 1400 metre Paris Lane Stakes. He's a horse that has raced well fresh previously. His first up win, last preparation was excellent. He showed good sustained speed. Looks to be in good order. He's had a good platform with the trials and the grounding going into this race. So expect him to be very competitive for us. Elias continues to be a very exciting and progressive stayer for us. This is no doubt his toughest test to date for him when racing in the Group 1 Turnbull Stakes over the 2,000 metres. But he's been excellent in everything that we've seen from him here in Sydney. He's travelled down in good order, and I'd like to think he'd be very competitive in this particular race. He's a horse that's improving every time that he steps out, and still looks to have plenty more left to offer. The running of the Bart Cummings will see us have 2 chances trying to qualify for the important Melbourne Cup ticket, Just Fine and Sir Lucan. Both coming off runs where I think they can show the necessary improvement. Just Fine, I think, will really appreciate stepping out in trip. I think he just needed that run there last start. It looks to have really brought him on. He looks to be in much better shape going into this particular race. I think he'll also appreciate getting out to the Flemington track. Sir Lucan was on the quick back up here. Found himself in a bit of a messy race there in the early stages. If he can execute the first part of the race right, we know he's a horse that can be a very effective late for us. He looks to have come through that race in great shape, and I think he presents well here. The stable will have 2 excellent representatives in the Epsom Handicap Group 1 over the mile at Randwick. Major Beale stepping off an excellent run in the 7 Stakes. Weight for age level, he's dropping back to the handicap conditions here and meets many of his rivals much better at the weights. He gave a great sight there at his last start, and his first up run was excellent. Appears to be in really good shape, so expect him to run another bold race. Royal Patronage going around as one of the favoured runners of this particular race. If he can offset the wide draw, I certainly feel he's a horse that continues to show nice progression and improvement in Australia. He's bringing a lot of class to this race, and certainly feel he'll be very well placed here. In the Metropolitan Handicap, the stable will be represented by Military Mission and Serpentine. Military Mission has been building nicely towards a peak performance here. He'll be much better suited by the conditions and stepping out to the distance of the Metropolitan. I thought he's been excellent in his 2 runs to date, and as I said, ready to show the nice natural progression going into this race. Equally impressive was Serpentine there last start. He's coming through an excellent form race. He was first up on that occasion. I thought he gave plenty of sight and plenty of merit to the performance when he stuck on very well. He's another one that should appreciate getting out in distance here. Johnny the Kid was excellent, breaking his maiden there last start on the Kensington track. He's stepping up to the Dulcify Stakes here, listed race for the 3-year-olds. He is up in grade, but I do feel he's a horse that's taken plenty of confidence off that win. I feel he'll be suited by a strongly run mile at the Randwick track here. So a nice horse with good progression and certainly plenty of upside. The Breeders' Plate's a very interesting race. We have plenty of nice chances going into this particular particularly edition of the race. Tuscany, a brilliant trial winner at the official 2-year-old trials. He looks to be an absolute professional and natural in everything that we've seen to date. So I've been very pleased with him leading into this race. King Kirk was equally impressive, the manner in which he won his trial. He showed good maturity and racing craft to win the trial in the manner in which he did. He's one that looks to show nice natural progression off the back of that trial. North England was excellent in the way in which he won his trial. He showed good sustained speed and really stuck on very well for an impressive trial win. He's a bold front runner that will take plenty of catching. Tempestuous, I feel there's more upside to him than what we saw at the trials. He's got the tactical speed to put himself in the race and certainly be strong late for us. Very hard to split them. I think we're taking some great chances into the Breeders' Plate. The Gimcrack Stakes looks to be a very open race. I feel we're taking 3 nice chances into the run. Voting Rights was very professional in everything that she did in her trial. She showed good tactical speed. I thought she stuck on bravely. She's continued to train on nicely, and she's a very honest filly. Bella Zane, equally impressive, trained on nicely. I feel she's ready to put in a very brave performance off the back of what we saw at the trial. She chased a strong tempo and was very strong late and continued to build nicely through the line. So I feel she's in great order. Scrumptious, she did everything right in her trial, cannot fault her. She's a filly that's been on an upward spiral in the last 7 to 10 days leading into this race. So I think she can be very, very effective from a nice draw. Satin Shimmer looks to be in good order at present, progressing nicely and racing with plenty of confidence. A lovely last start win from her at Canberra. She was able to dominate from the outset. She looks to have trained on nicely and really continues to show the necessary improvement. She looks in good order going into Saturday's race at Newcastle, and thinks she'll take some catching once again. Citrus Spirits racing first up over the 1,200 metres on Saturday. I think he's a horse that will continue to show nice improvement and progression off the back of this race. 1,200 metres may be short of his best, but I'm sure he'll continue to show nice upside off the back of the run. Portfolio in the same race has been very honest in her 2 starts to date. She's building nicely towards a winning effort here. Hard to fault what she's done to date. She looks particularly well within herself.